Here we go for Monday. I was actually able to record like the whole displacement and all that stuff. So Monday, all right. All right, here we go. First I started this way. See, I figured out my leg. I put in my levels where it could reach out to, you know, then it starts going up there. So I was going through the levels that I believe is going to do it. I'm just waiting for some type of displacement. Okay. Some type of displacement. Then boom, right there. See that? It's displacement right there. And that's when I start making my entry. There you go. I put my entry right there. Right at the displacement right there. Okay, that's where I'm going to. It doesn't actually end up reaching there. You know, it goes down there, but it's just taking a sweet ass time getting down there. And then eventually, what ended up happening, it ended up, I moved my stop. I moved my stop, and then ended up coming right back to it. Okay, and see, and then I had to like re-sign in again. But I ended up getting knocked out. Okay, here's the second one. Tried taking the trade again, but it kind of didn't go. So it was a small little display. So I jumped in it a little early. I think that's why I didn't actually wait for the candle to close. And then it came right back up, and it just knocked me out. See that? It knocked me out and just turned directions, which ended up putting me $243 in the negative because of the mistake. All right, now here we go for Tuesday. It was it's all right. I first started doing it here, right there. Right here was when I first started to take the trade. Then here I took it again. You know, I took it again. That's where I wanted to go to. Okay, but what the hell did I do? I sold it because it just didn't want to go, and it was taking a sweet ass time again. It was taking a sweet ass time again. You know. But then it ended up going exactly where I said it was going to go to, which is my white line, which only made me $81 for the day. All right, here we go for Wednesday. It was all right, you know. I still lost money. Here's my trade right here. I'm waiting for some type of displacement. That's where I'm expecting it to go. Like some type of go up and then down, displace. And basically, I'm just waiting for a fair value gap to form, you know. Once that candle closes, that one right there, I got my fair value gap, and I'm setting up my trade. Boom, there you go, which is I set up my entry 50% retrace of where if it's institutional buying, it should go there. But it didn't go there. It just kind of worked into the first fair value gap, you know, and it was just going without me, so I went ahead and market order. All right, there you go, just market order right there. And then I sold it because it was taking too long. So I sold it right there where that blue arrow is. That's where I sold it. I tried checking the trade again right there, and I ended up getting stopped out. So it ended up being a negative $78 day. Yay! All right, here we go for Thursday. Though it's a freaking mess. I got like all my food and stuff. It was pretty good. It was alright. It's a freaking. You can see the chart. It's a freaking mess. All right, but ended up being a good day. Just sticking to my rules. My number one rule, which is time. Then I took a break. Then I came back in the PM, and I basically I killed it. I did pretty good. So now this is my Thursday trade. White line right there. That's where my sweep of liquidity is. Came back down, displaced, created a fair value gap. That's why I got bought at my fair value gap. I already got it down there at one point in time. I was almost like a 5 to 1 or 4 to 1. I'm at least getting like it's almost a 4 to 1 right now. It's like $100 and something loss, and you know, I got it down there. I moved my stop, and I ended up getting knocked out. So pretty good for a Thursday. There you go. Come on, look at that. And then it's gonna come up and it's gonna hit my stop. There you go. It's right here. I tried to take one right there from here, you know, and I was trying to take it up there, but I ended up getting stopped out. Then I tried it again right up at the top here. There's a little fair value gap. It displaced, like once it passed above this level, it came down, you know, displacement, fair value gap. And I took it all the way down here, made some money there. Then I did it again over here. See that? Bought it here, sold it here, made money. Bought it here, sold it here, made money. Okay, now here is the other one that I got, which I bought it here. Came all the way up here. Should have sold it there because I was being a stupid idiot, and I ended up selling it right there. But then I got in it again right there. It went to right there and made some money on it too, which ended up making me $310 for a Thursday. Freaking awesome. All right, here we go for, where's the camera? Where's the camera? Over here. Friday. Go for Friday. This was one of my entries, which was right on the top here. Where's my pencil? Entry. I did an exit there really quick. I gotta get used to this consolidation. Okay, this is where I took another one, consolidated, expanded. I took it again. The PM. See that? It's right here. It just liquidity, and then it just broke structure right there. See, this is in the PM, right after 12. It just set up. I took it, but man, I sold too early. Here's what I was just, I was trying to stay in the profits, but I should have just held on to it because this is, see, look at this. It's like, originally right here was my entry right there. Okay, this would have been my stop. So if I would have just held on to it, I sold it too early. And then the stock and the PM ended up just basically skyrocketing. And then, I ended up finishing the day losing $20. And then ended up at the week with 1343. It's all right. I just need to learn how to take just one big trade, okay, and then just let it be. Wait for the market to move. This is what I got to do. And then with the, on top of that, keep doing my routine, working out and stuff. This way I kind of get used to it. And I got to keep reviewing ICT's videos, because usually every time I take one of these trades, he's also taking the same trade. The only difference that I'm doing is just I'm over trading. I just keep trying to grab it, keep trying to grab it. Like it goes, and I lose. It goes, and then I lose. And then eventually it just goes. I just got to wait for the market to move. 9:30 hit. I have to wait for the market to move. I got to get used to that and wait for it and see if I can predict. Like it's just like the predicting part. I keep going over the videos like, oh yeah, just watch when he sweeps this liquidity, whatever, and all that stuff. And it's just, it's hard for me to comprehend like where it is. I still don't see it. I still don't see it. The only time I ever see it is when the market starts moving. It reaches a certain point and then it reacts to it. When you see the displacement, then it creates a fair value gap, and that's when I buy it in. It's just kind of like, that's become like kind of just common sense. Just let it move, hit a certain spot that I believe is going to go to, and then watch it react. Once the reaction is what I'm expecting it from that particular, because sometimes, I'll mark the areas and it goes to it, but it doesn't do anything. The market just keeps going, or it doesn't react the way that it's supposed to. But then it kind of just comes to the point where like, okay, it's going to sweep right here. Let me see what it does once it sweeps here. And then once it sweeps that area, and then it reacts to it, and it just like, it just turns around and it goes the other direction. And, you get the displacement and then the fair value gap and all stuff. And then that's it.